Hey everybody, Daniel from the Venza Dutch office. Thank you so much for being here to another reaction video. We're glad you're here. So we've got a couple of industry friends that are in the hot seat. They don't know what we're going to talk about today. So you can see, yes, pupils are dilated. You can see that they're holding back. So yeah, we're glad you're here. With me as always, Sean Shields from the Atlanta office. He's bringing in. Yeah, he's talking to HQ. I don't know. Oh, he's the DJ. Okay, I always got it. He keeps me guessing every time something new. All right, so let's find out who is representing their companies in the hot seat today. Why don't we start with you, Theresa?
Hi, Theresa Ellsworth, and I am the Director of Sales at Sertifi. Very excited to be here.
Fantastic. We love our friends at Sertifi. Good to have you. And you, Michael, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Michael from Dailypoint, founder and CEO. And thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you, my friend. Okay, so they're, as I mentioned, they are there waiting and eagerly wanting to know what the topic is. We're going to get their raw reaction when Mr. Shields shares his screen. Anytime you're ready, Shawnee. Okay, so this is an article from today, our friends over at Hospitality Net. Always great content for our industry. Don't let the weird economy throw off your business, your direct business. So if you wouldn't mind just going down a little bit. Yes, I love that first line at the very the first line of the article, Sean, just a smidge. Yeah. It's budget season again. So as the hotel industry is looking towards figuring out, anticipating what will be in the budget for 2023, is it, my question to you two, do you think that it is next to impossible to forecast and budget in this environment where we've got topsy-turvy, whether it be climate or conflict or health issues that, public health issues such as COVID in the past, or are we able to identify trend lines? Are hoteliers able to identify some trend lines? What are your thoughts with regards to budgeting and anticipation for the coming year? Why don't we start with you, Michael? I see you're kind of nodding, so you're chomping at the bit. What do you think, sir?
Well, I think it's super difficult to forecast something. It really depends on which region of the world you are in. I guess some are way more hit than the others. I believe that Europe is facing a hard time with the recession, the inflation, the gas crisis, energy crisis. I think it's a different picture in the US or in the Middle East. So it's really hard to forecast almost anything.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah.
Theresa, are you of the same mind? You were nodding. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned COVID. No one really saw that coming and thought, people wouldn't be going to hotels for how long? I mean, it was really a couple years before we saw people filling up hotels again. And I think a lot of folks are they're a little scared going into this budget season and they're trying to be careful, but I'm hopeful it's just going to be booming. So I'll go with that.
Yeah. Hopefully it throttles up and just a lot of fear without actual concerns. In the article, it references a phrase of core and explore, and that's something that I quite like, that notion of identify what your core is and then set aside and throttle what your investment will be for exploring based on a certain area. And I think really focusing, there's been a lot of work on identifying your core group, your core market. I mean, have you guys heard that phrase? Does that resonate with you? And do you think that that's good advice for the industry? Just this, figure out who your guests are and explore incrementally rather than going full, whole hog, as they say in the States. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's it's how our industry had to pivot during COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what you're mentioning here. And I think we saw things, this is a little off topic, but who knew the QR code was coming back the way that it
Yes.
did, right? And I don't know that that was their necessarily core
Yeah.
business. But I think you have to have a great brand, right? You just have to know who you are. And everything else that you can do extra is always, always a benefit.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? Resonating with you, Michael? You've been nodding.
Oh, well, I think we are in a phase where a lot of hotel companies reevaluate their IT stack. And a couple companies said, well, especially due to COVID, oh, we don't have the time, we don't have the we don't have the budget, we don't have the people that are not working yet.
Yeah.
So so a lot of projects were postponed, and now we're faced with the next crisis, but you can't postpone projects anymore. So they have to start to invest, going to the cloud. I mean, all the PMS systems, they have on premise. They are forced to. They have an end of life coming closer, and so companies have to invest. And
in our space, I mean, we certainly have a lot of the IT investments. You know, firewalls that are antiquated, no longer can be patched. Is not going to be won't be secure any longer, and system software, hardware that's just it's at the end of life. Challenging time to yet another Q4 that it's challenging to budget moving forward for our industry. Well, thank you both for being on the hot seat, and everybody out there, thanks for tuning in to another reaction video. Sean, did you anything about budgeting you mention before we say goodbye?
You know, I think that 2020 is going to show up as a financial blip.
2020?
Yeah. I didn't want to say the C word because, on YouTube, I was trying to, when all that happened, it's like when a disaster happens in an area and you cut a tree open and you look and you go, oh yeah, here's right where the meteorites landed, right where this no ring growth is. That's what your financial report's going to look like. It's going to be like everything after 2020. Growth.
Growth. Very great. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you at the next reaction video.